Hi, my name is Jessica Safuni, and this is a technology that I will need for my upcoming STEAM project for this class. So a little bit about my project. It is going to be a fractions and baking project. And so basically the first part will be students are going to learn about fractions and how to measure using measuring cups and making fractions that way. And then students will learn about multiplying and dividing fractions. To manipulate them that way, to make smaller fractions, larger fractions based on the need, which is a part of our 5th grade New York State standards. Students will then use their newly learned skills about multiplying and dividing fractions to manipulate different recipes. So they're going to, as groups, they're going to come up with different scenarios. So it could be something like a family party. It could be something like they're making for their own classroom. They're going to, as a group, come up with different scenarios, and then they're randomly going to select a scenario and manipulate that for a different recipe that they're provided. And the students are going to use their recipes, and they are going to create a virtual cookbook, and then students are going to test out their recipes from their cookbook and bake them for the class. So Google Sites is something that I will need to address as a technology need. So the reason I'm going to use Google Sites is it is going to be used to communicate with my students and allow me to create it wouldn't be really for my students, it would probably be more for the class since students use more of a Google Classroom, but it would be used on this classroom as a way for me to show this Malik program what we're working on. And so that's a technology need that I'm going to have to learn how to do. Google Slides would be something I'm going to be working with and manipulating different aspects to create for my students to show their learning, create different resources for them as review guides, different things like that, incorporate games or incorporate links to songs, links to videos of others explaining different ways to manipulate fractions and multiply and divide fractions. Google Classroom is how I would mostly communicate with students in a 5th grade setting. For the purpose of this class, I would have to say Google Sites for now, just because I'm not going to share out my school's Google Classroom with my students. That's just a violation of school privacy rules. So I won't be sharing that. I would share my Google Sites and different information I have of that and different scenarios I would come up with that way. But Google Slides will be very similar to my Google site. Google Classroom would be very similar to my Google site, and I would show the same things from my Google site as I would show on my Google Classroom and vice versa. And then for Kami, this will be where I'm going to develop what I am going to have my students use in order to create their online virtual cookbook. And so Kami is a great resource for teachers where they can create worksheets, dittos, and different virtual tools for their students. If for some reason I don't feel like it's working out the way that I like it, I'm going to use a different virtual platform. However, I feel like Kami will give the students and me the best opportunity just because it does have a writing component if they felt like they wanted to write and draw, and it also has a typing component for them as well. So those are the few different technology challenges that I will be using and facing during this STEM program project.